The battlefield was silent now. Smoke rose from the ruins of the Zelthari outpost, and small fires burned in scattered places. Human soldier Ryan stepped carefully over broken metal and shattered walls, his rifle ready. His orders were simple: search the base and clear any remaining threats before full evacuation, but something inside him felt uneasy. The war had already taken so much life. Both humans and Zelthari had suffered heavy losses. As Ryan walked through the ruins, he thought of how strange it was, fighting against a race that, just like humans, fought to protect their own kind. Suddenly, his helmet sensors beeped. A faint life reading appeared on his visor, close but weak. Ryan moved toward the signal, stepping over twisted beams and fallen machines. The signal led him to a large piece of fallen ceiling. Leaning against the remains of a wall, he stopped. A soft sound reached his ears. Whimpering, Ryan lowered his weapon and carefully moved the debris aside. Behind it, hidden in a small hollow space, were two young Zelthari children. They had pale blue skin, large golden eyes, and small head ridges, typical for their species. The younger one trembled, clutching the older sibling's hand tightly, the moment they saw Ryan. Their eyes grew wide with fear. The older one quickly moved in front of the younger. As if to protect them both, Ryan raised his hand slowly to show he meant no harm. "It's okay," he said softly. "I won't hurt you." The children didn't move. They didn't understand his words, but they could feel his calm voice. Ryan kneeled down, placing his rifle carefully on the ground. He pulled out a small water bottle and gently slid it toward them. The older child hesitated, glancing between Ryan and the bottle. Finally, after a moment, they reached out, grabbed it, and took a sip. The younger child followed. Their dry throats and shaking hands made Ryan realize how long they had been hiding here. "Where are your parents?" he asked, knowing they couldn't answer. Ryan looked around. The building was collapsing slowly. The evacuation countdown was running. In minutes, the humans would leave, and orbital bombs would destroy what was left to prevent enemy recovery. If he left these children here, they wouldn't survive. His communicator buzzed. "Sergeant Ryan, report. Area clear." His duty was to report any enemy presence. If he told Command about the children, they would become prisoners. Or worse, Command would see them as enemy assets. He looked back at the small faces, staring up at him, still filled with fear. His heart tightened. "Area clear," Ryan answered. "No hostiles." He made his choice. Quickly, Ryan pulled out an emergency blanket from his pack and wrapped the children to keep them warm. He whispered gently, trying to calm them as he lifted them into his arms. As he moved back through the ruined halls, debris continued to fall. The ceiling cracked, dust filled the air, and small explosions shook the ground. The children clung to him tightly, their small hands gripping his armor. Ryan reached the exit point just as the final transport shuttle prepared for launch. The guards looked at him with confusion as he carried the wrapped bundle. "Sergeant, what's that?" one asked. "Just equipment I recovered, sensitive tech." "Needs protection," Ryan lied calmly. The guard nodded, allowing him to board. Inside the shuttle, Ryan found a corner, sitting quietly with the children hidden beneath the blanket. He whispered to them again, using slow and soft words. "You're safe now, I promise." The shuttle lifted off, leaving the burning outpost behind. Through the window, Ryan saw the distant flash of the orbital strike as the facility was destroyed completely. No one would know what he had done. Not yet. As the shuttle moved through space toward the human fleet, Ryan looked at the two small faces peeking out from the blanket. They had trusted him. He couldn't explain it, but deep inside, he knew he had done the right thing. Far away, on the Zelthari homeworld, a mother named Valara received the worst news. Her younglings were missing during the evacuation. But her instincts told her they were still alive, and she would not stop until she found who had saved them, the human. Starship hummed quietly as it traveled through deep space. Ryan sat in a small corner, the two Zelthari children still wrapped carefully in the emergency blanket. Their eyes, wide and curious, slowly began to relax as the shaking of the shuttle stopped. The younger one softly touched Ryan's arm, sensing his calmness. Ryan looked down at them and smiled gently. He had never thought war would bring him to protect enemy children. But here they were, and he would keep them safe no matter what. The human officers aboard the ship moved quickly through their duties, preparing for the next battle. But Ryan kept his secret carefully hidden. He avoided talking about the younglings and made sure no one saw them. The children stayed silent, only watching Ryan with trusting eyes. Late at night, Ryan took a small meal to the corner where the children hid. He pulled out some nutrient packs from his own rations, unsure if the alien younglings could eat human food. To his relief, the older child took the packet, examining it curiously, and then ate slowly. The younger child followed. Ryan felt a strange connection growing. He thought about his own family back on Earth, how his little sister would have been the same age as these children. It made the war feel more real and painful. The ship's captain, Commander Halle, noticed Ryan's quiet behavior and began to ask questions. "Sergeant, are you feeling all right?" "You seem distracted." Ryan forced a smile. "Just tired, sir." "The mission has been hard." Commander Halle nodded but seemed unconvinced. "If there's anything you need to report, you know the chain of command." Ryan kept silent, knowing this secret was too important to share. Meanwhile, far away on the Zelthari homeworld, Vilara stood in her council chamber, her golden eyes full of worry. The news of her missing children had spread quickly. Many believed they had died in the battle, but Vilara refused to accept this. She was a strong and respected leader. Her voice was calm but firm as she spoke to her advisors. "I will find my children. Whoever saved them must be found." Her advisors looked uneasy. The war had caused many losses, and now the children of a leader missing was a serious matter. Still, they could not stop her. Vilara reached out to her spies and contacts, sending secret messages across star systems. She requested information from both Zelthari and human sources. She needed to know everything. Back on the human ship, Ryan's secret became harder to keep. The children, though young, began to explore the small space carefully. Ryan had to be alert to keep them hidden from the crew. One day, the older child, who Ryan learned was called Lyra, looked up at him and tried to speak. Her voice was soft but clear, a strange melody to Ryan's ears. Ryan smiled and tried to respond. "I don't speak your language well, but I will learn." He began to teach them simple human words while learning some Zelthari words from Lyra's broken attempts. Slowly, a small bridge of communication formed between them. As days passed, Ryan noticed the children were not just frightened. They were smart and curious. They watched the stars through the ship's small windows, and sometimes they pointed and made excited sounds. Ryan realized they did not understand the war or why humans and Zelthari were fighting. To them, it was all confusing and painful. He promised himself he would protect them until they could be safe again. One evening, as the ship prepared to enter a human space station, Ryan was called to the command deck. Commander Halle looked serious. "We received a message from Zelthari officials," he said. "They demand the return of your captured children." Ryan's heart skipped a beat. "How had they found out?" "I don't have any captives, sir," Ryan answered carefully. Commander Halle frowned. "The Zelthari are not happy. This could cause trouble." Ryan knew he had little time. He had to decide whether to tell the truth or keep the secret. Later that night, Ryan sat with Lyra and her younger brother, Kane. He looked into their trusting eyes and made a choice. "I will protect you, no matter what," he whispered. At the same time, Vilara received a new report. Her spies had discovered a human soldier with 2 Zelthari children aboard his ship. Her heart raced. This was the sign she waited for. She prepared to travel to the human station, hoping to meet the soldier who saved her children. Ryan did not know this yet, but his actions would soon change the course of the war and bring 2 very different worlds together in a way no one expected. The human space station was busy and loud. Ships from many different planets docked and left. Soldiers and officers moved quickly through the halls. Ryan felt nervous as he waded in. The command center. Today, an important visitor was arriving, the Zelthari mother of the children he had saved. The doors opened slowly. Vilara stepped in, her tall figure shining in the bright light. Her skin was pale blue, like her children's, but stronger and marked with patterns of her rank. Her golden eyes scanned the room carefully. Despite being a leader, there was a softness in her gaze as she looked at Ryan. The room grew quiet. Humans and Zelthari officers watched closely. This meeting was unusual. The war had created many enemies, but now a mother came to ask for her children's return and to meet the human soldier who saved them. Valara moved forward. "I am Valara, mother of Lara and Cain," she said with calm but firm voice. "Thank you for protecting my young ones." Ryan stood tall and nodded. "I am Sergeant Ryan. I did what I could." "They are safe." Valara's eyes softened. "That is more than I expected from your kind." The two leaders spoke carefully. Valara explained her pain when she learned her children were missing during the battle. She told of her search and how her spies found Ryan and the children. Ryan told her about the evacuation and his choice to protect the younglings. He spoke honestly about his feelings, how he could not leave them to die. The officers around them watched closely. This meeting was more than a simple exchange. It was a moment of trust between two enemies. After the formal talks, Valara requested a private room to speak with Ryan alone. She wanted to understand the man who had saved her children. In the quiet room, Valara looked at Ryan. "Your actions are unusual," she said. "In Zelthari culture, saving an enemy's young is a sacred honor." Ryan smiled slightly. "I don't understand all your customs, but I know the children are innocent. They should be safe." Valara nodded. "Your kindness shows a strength that many humans do not have." They spoke late into the evening. Valara shared stories of her people, proud warriors who value honor and family. Ryan told her about Earth, human struggles, and hope for peace. Slowly, a bond formed. Valara saw Ryan not as an enemy, but as a brave and good man. The colony had changed since Leora arrived. What once was fear and suspicion slowly turned into acceptance and hope. People saw her not as an alien to fear, but as a symbol of courage. And new beginnings. Daniel and Leora stood on a quiet hill overlooking the settlement. The twin moons hung low in the sky, casting soft light over the peaceful land. The air was fresh and cool, filled with the promise of tomorrow. Lio turned to Daniel, her eyes shining with emotion. "I never dreamed this day would come." Daniel smiled gently. "Neither did I, but here we are, together." She took his hand, feeling the warmth and strength in his touch. "You saved me when I had nothing, no home, no clothes, no hope. You showed me kindness." Daniel looked into her eyes. "You saved me too. You showed me what true bravery is." They stood close, their hearts beating in quiet rhythm. Around them, the world seemed still, waiting for the next step. Life was not perfect, but it was real. Together they built a new home filled with laughter and trust. Leora learned to love the simple joys of human life, a warm meal, a gentle breeze, the touch of a hand. Daniel learned to see the universe through her eyes, the beauty of her people's culture, the strength hidden behind her gentle spirit. Every day, they worked to help others like Leora. Together, they created safe places where aliens and humans could live without fear. One evening, under the vast stars, Daniel turned to Leora with a smile. "Will you stay with me forever?" Leora's heart fluttered. She had waited for these words, yet they felt like a beautiful dream. She smiled back, her voice soft but sure. "Forever." They embraced, the quiet night wrapping around them like a gentle blanket. News of their bond spread across the colony, inspiring many. Their story was one of hope, of strength and kindness, and the power of trust. Leora and Daniel became more than just friends. They became family. Together, they faced every challenge, every fear, and every new day. No longer alone, no longer afraid. They looked forward to the future, a future built on love and courage. As the twin moons slowly moved across the sky, Daniel and Leora sat hand in hand watching the stars. The galaxy was vast and sometimes dark, but they had found light in each other, and that light would never fade. Meanwhile, Lara and Cain played quietly nearby. The children felt safe with Ryan, but the presence of their mother made their faces glow with happiness. Lara finally spoke. "In our tradition, when one shows such courage and honor, the family offers a bond, a connection that is deeper than words." Are you okay? He asked. Leora nodded, tears in her eyes. Thanks to you, Daniel smiled. We are stronger together. The valley was quiet after the fight. Daniel and Leora sat beside the small campfire, catching their breath. Corvin, the bounty hunter, was tied up with strong ropes. His cold eyes watched them with anger, but he said nothing. Leora looked at Daniel with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Who is he? She asked softly. Daniel sighed. Corvin is a hunter. He works for the slavers who want to capture you. He is dangerous and will stop at nothing to get what he wants. Leora shivered. Why would anyone want to hurt my people? We only wanted peace. Daniel looked at the stars above. Some want power and money. They don't care about peace or kindness. Leora's small hands clenched the blanket she wore. I don't want to be a prisoner again. You won't be, Daniel promised. I will protect you. The next morning, Daniel and his friends talked quietly about what to do next. Corvin was a skilled tracker and fighter. He might escape or call for help, one of Daniel's friends, Maya, suggested. We should take him to the colony authorities. Let them deal with him, Daniel nodded. But the colony leaders don't trust us. They might let him go, Maya frowned. Then we keep watch. We make sure he can't hurt anyone. Leora listened silently, feeling both scared and hopeful. She had never felt cared for like this before. That night, as Daniel kept watch near the fire, Leora stayed inside the small shelter. Suddenly, a noise came from outside, a rustling sound in the trees. Leora's heart jumped. She stood quietly, listening. The sound grew louder. Daniel quickly grabbed his flashlight and moved toward the noise. Leora followed, her steps soft on. The ground. Suddenly, a shadow moved between the trees, a figure in dark armor. It was Corvin. Somehow, he had freed himself. Daniel shouted, Corvin, stop! Corvin's eyes burned with rage. You won't stop me? He pulled a small device from his belt, aiming it at Daniel. Leora's mind raced. She remembered the power. Her people used the telepathic bursts that had helped before. She closed her eyes and focused. A wave of mental energy rushed toward Corvin. His hand trembled, and the device dropped to the ground. Daniel charged forward and tackled Corvin to the ground. The fight was quick but fierce. This time, they tied Corvin even tighter. After the struggle, Daniel turned to Leora. You're stronger than you think. Leora smiled faintly. Only because you believe in me. They returned to the campfire. Daniel's friends watched carefully, ready for anything. The next days were tense. Corvin was trapped, but the danger was not gone. Daniel and Leora knew. They had to move again. Staying in one place was too risky. Maya found a secret ship hidden in an old hangar. It was small but fast, the perfect chance to escape. Daniel helped Leora aboard. She looked back at the camp with a heavy heart. I will miss this place, she said softly. Ryan blinked in surprise. A bond? Yes, Valara said. It means I ask you to be more than a soldier who saved my children. I ask you to become part of our family, to share your life with me. Ryan was shocked. He had never imagined something like this. Why me? He asked, because you chose mercy and courage when it mattered most. You are different, Valara said softly. And because my children will always need a protector. Ryan thought for a moment. The war had taken so much. This offer was strange, but it also felt hopeful. He looked at the children, then at Valara. I need time to understand. Valara smiled. Take all the time you need. But know that this bond is not just tradition. It is a promise of respect and honor between us. The next day, news of the meeting spread across the station. Some humans were surprised, others doubtful. Zelthari leaders debated whether to accept this unusual bond. Ryan's commanders watched him closely. Some thought this could help end the war. Others feared it might be dangerous. But Ryan felt certain. He had saved 2 innocent lives. Now he might help build a bridge between 2 worlds. Days passed since Valara's offer. Ryan spent much of his time thinking. The idea of forming a bond with an alien leader was strange, even shocking. He had always followed orders, fought battles, and focused on survival. Now his world had changed. Valara visited often. She was patient and kind. She never pushed him, but her presence reminded Ryan of something deeper: honor, trust, and hope. One afternoon, Valara invited Ryan to a quiet garden inside the human space station. It was a place where plants from many worlds grew, surrounded by soft sunlight through glass walls. The garden was calm, a peaceful break from the war outside. They walked slowly among the flowers and tall trees. Ryan felt a calm he hadn't known. In a long time, Valara spoke softly. "I know this bond is not easy for you. It is new and strange." Ryan nodded. "It is. I never thought about this before." "I don't know if I am ready," Valara smiled gently. "The bond is not only about two people, it is about two peoples, about peace." Ryan looked into her golden eyes. "You believe this can help end the war?" "Yes," Valara said. "Your courage saved my children. Now your courage can save many more." Ryan thought of his friends, his family back on Earth, and the war that seemed never ending. "I want peace," he said quietly, "but I am afraid of what others will think." Valara reached out and took his hand. Her touch was warm and strong. "There will be those who fear change, but your heart is true." Ryan felt hope growing inside him. The bond Valara spoke of was more than tradition. It was a chance for something better. Suddenly, alarms sounded throughout the station. A warning flashed on the nearby screen. An attack was incoming. Valara's eyes sharpened. "Enemies approach!" Ryan's military training took over. He moved quickly to the command center. Valara followed. The screen showed a small group of Zelthari extremists had launched a surprise attack. They wanted to disrupt the peace talks and destroy the bond before it began. Ryan knew what he had to do. He gathered a team of soldiers and joined Valara's guards. Together, they moved to defend the station. The battle was fierce but brief. Ryan and Valara fought side by side, protecting the children and the people inside the station. After the fight, Valara looked at Ryan with respect. "You fought not as a soldier, but as a protector." Ryan smiled, tired but proud. "I will protect what is important." That night, Ryan and Valara returned to the garden. The quiet after battle was strange but welcome. Valara said, "You have shown strength beyond the battlefield." "You are ready." Ryan took a deep breath. "Then I accept the bond?" Valara's face lit with happiness. "Together we will bring hope to our peoples." Their hands joined, a symbol of a new beginning. The bond was no longer just tradition. It was a promise. After Ryan accepted Valara's bond, the news spread quickly across both human and Zelthari worlds. Some people were surprised, some were hopeful, and others were worried. Many did not understand how a human soldier and an alien leader could form such a close connection. Ryan found himself in the middle of a storm of opinions. His commanders watched him carefully, unsure if this bond would help or hurt their cause. Some soldiers whispered behind his back. They saw Valara as the enemy and wondered why he would trust her. Valara also faced challenges. Some Zelthari leaders believed she was weak for making a bond with a human. They said it was against their tradition and feared it would damage their honor. Valara stood strong, refusing to let fear control her choices. Despite the pressure, Ryan and Valara continued to meet often. They shared stories of their peoples, their hopes, and their fears. Slowly, they built trust between them. One day, Ryan invited Valara to visit Earth. He wanted her to see where he came from. A world of many people, many cultures, and many dreams. Valara accepted. The trip was long but peaceful. On Earth, she saw cities full of light and life, forests stretching far beyond the eye, and oceans that seemed to never end. Ryan introduced her to his family. They were surprised but kind. His mother smiled and welcomed Valara with open arms. His little sister was shy but curious about the alien visitor. Valara felt warmth she had never known. She saw that humans were not so different from her own people. They both cared deeply for family and peace. Back in space, the war had not stopped. But the bond between Ryan and Valara gave hope to many. Some human leaders began to consider peace talks with the Zelthari. Some Zelthari warriors lowered their weapons when they heard about the bond, yet danger remained. A group of Zelthari extremists planned to break the bond by force. They believed that no human should ever be so close to their leaders. Ryan learned of their plans. He prepared carefully. With Valara's help, they set traps and guarded the children closely. One night, the extremists attacked. The battle was fierce. Ryan and Valara fought side by side, defending their people and their future. In the end, the extremists were stopped. Many were captured and brought to justice. The victory was not just about war. It was about proving that two very different worlds could come together. Ryan and Valara stood before their people, hands joined. This bond is a new beginning, Valara said. We choose hope over fear, Ryan nodded. Together we can build a better future. The crowd cheered, but some still watched silently, unsure of what the future held. Ryan knew the road ahead would be hard. But with Valara by his side, he believed they could overcome anything. Peace was still fragile. Though many celebrated the bond between Ryan and Valara, not everyone welcomed it. A small group of Zelthari extremists refused to accept the new path. They saw Ryan not as a hero, but as a threat to their culture and power. These extremists planned to capture Lyra and Cain, the children Ryan had saved and Valara loved dearly. They believed that taking the children would break Valara's spirit and force her to abandon the bond. Ryan learned about the danger from a loyal Zelthari guard who had been watching the extremists closely. His heart tightened. He could not let the children face harm again. Together with Valara, Ryan prepared to protect the children. They set strong guards and moved the younglings to a secure hidden place within the Zelthari palace. The night was quiet but tense. Ryan and Valara took turns watching, never far from the children. Suddenly, alarms blared. The extremists had found the hiding place and were moving in. Ryan quickly gathered a group of trusted soldiers and Zelthari guards. Valara led her own warriors to meet the threat. The palace halls echoed with the sounds of battle, footsteps, shouts, and the clash of weapons. Ryan fought bravely. His training and courage shone through. Valara was fierce and powerful, inspiring her warriors to stand strong. In the midst of the fight, Lyra and Cain hid silently, their small hands gripping each other tightly. The extremists tried to break through the defenses, but Ryan and Valara's team held firm. Slowly, the attackers were pushed back. After a long struggle, the extremists were captured. Their plan had failed. Valara looked at Ryan with deep respect. "You saved my children again," she said softly. Ryan smiled. "I will always protect them, and you." News of the battle spread quickly. The people saw that the bond between Ryan and Valara was stronger than any threat. Many began to hope that peace was possible after all. Ryan and Valara stood together before the Zelthari Council. Valara spoke with pride. "This bond is not weakness. It is strength. It is the future," Ryan nodded. "Together we can build a world where our children can live in peace." The council members whispered among themselves. Some nodded slowly. Others still doubted, but one thing was clear. The bond had changed everything. The day had finally come. The space between the human and Zelthari worlds felt smaller, filled with hope. Ryan stood beside Valara, holding her hand as they prepared to face the new council meeting. This was the first time humans and Zelthari would meet together to discuss peace. Lyra and Cain played quietly nearby, their smiles bright. They no longer feared war. They had a future now. The council chamber was large and grand. Zelthari leaders filled one side, humans the other. The air was thick with tension and curiosity. Many eyes watched Ryan and Valara. Some with hope, some with doubt. Valara rose first, her voice clear and strong. "Today marks a new path for our peoples. Through the bond with Sergeant Ryan, we have found courage to seek peace." Ryan stepped forward. "War has taken too much from us, but we can build a future where humans and Zelthari live as friends and allies." Whispers spread through the crowd. Some nodded, others hesitated. Suddenly, a young Zelthari warrior stood. "How can we trust a human? The war is not over." Ryan met his gaze. "Trust is earned, not given, but I am ready to earn it." "For all of us," Valara smiled. "We are not enemies now. We are partners." The council agreed to form a new alliance, a joint effort to rebuild and protect peace. Outside, the sun rose over the horizon of the Zelthari homeworld. Ryan, Valara, and the children looked toward the future. They knew challenges awaited, but their bond was strong. Ryan knelt beside Lyra. "You are safe now," he said. "And so is your brother." Valara wrapped her arms around them. "We will face whatever comes together." As the first human Zelthari council met, the galaxy watched. A human soldier and an alien mother had shown that even in the darkest times, kindness and courage could change everything.